live, live, live. This meeting is being streamed live as always on the YouTubes. And there we are. Away we go. Let's share all the things everywhere. Twitter. And the stonk twats. Watch and listen to GP and I bash each other for at least an hour. Yeah, that should be fun. Bring your questions and comments to the party for more funsies. How's that sound? That sounds great.
That sounds good. Sounds better than this market looks.
I know, it looks like shit.
We're going to zero.
It looks like dog shit vomit. Why am I not pulling up?
That actually is a thing, isn't it? Because dogs eat their own.
That's right. Dog shit vomit. Yes.
That's just that graphic image. Thanks.
You got it. And short seller thought about joining us, but he doesn't have a microphone hooked up to his computer. But hey, since I walked in the door at my house, we've had a little 10-minute rally going on the S&P. So
yeah.
Kudos.
Well, there was a big trade that went through for in the money calls for today at 36.50 on the SPX. So let's see if they close out the year green.
No, that's not
happening. I meant for the day, not for the year.
Okay, all right. It's not going to close green for the last 6 months either.
It's also not breaking down
yet.
Yeah, and if it does, it does, but it hasn't yet. I was told that the generals will destroy the markets, and we're still sitting above, sideways.
True. I can't think the jury's still out on the generals. I was seeing all the Tesla sub 100.
60, 55.
Yeah, well,
20.
I mean, I can make that argument. Apple sub 100. I was seeing a whole bunch of stuff over the past couple of days when I've been off. Because I like to just check in and see what the pulse of the people are. And it just keeps, I don't know how it can keep getting more bearish, but boy, does it ever get more bearish. And I have a hard time believing if all these mega caps lose another 20-30% that the S&P is going to be able to tread water. I just don't buy that.
Yeah, and that obviously I agree there. Obviously, if the biggest cap weighted names lose another 30%, they're most likely nothing's going to hold, because if they ain't buying your mega caps, they ain't buying anything, right? So don't disagree there, but as I said last week on the call with Cookie, we're sideways, man. Like for everything said and done, for all the doom and gloom, for everything that's said, we're in a 6-month holding pattern, and that's exactly like, I understand that everyone's bearish. I understand that a next leg is possible, but as of now, with everything that's been thrown at us, something has to break for that next leg to happen. And it hasn't broken yet.
I mean, 410 was in the July candle. 395 was the August candle. We're sitting at 380. Is that sideways? Is it really?
For all the things, so the Fed has continued to raise rates and we've gone sideways, right? So like don't fight the Fed has resulted in 5% down in 6 months. Is that what I understand?
I guess.
Or like I'm not I'm neutral in this point, right? Like we're at that point where from here it either goes down like crazy is my viewpoint, or from here we build, right? And for 6 months we've been kind of in this, like Amazon has broken its lows, Google has broken its lows, Apple broke its lows,
Look
Tesla
at
got
that big
hammered.
green Rager building there. Look at that. Look at that go. Look at that guy.
Yep.
Look at that guy. I don't think he's gonna turn green for the day, but I mean that's some nice.
We get over that 38, 35. You have a rager that could potentially form, right? That's the JPM collar from last quarter. They've already put their collar on, so you could see put covering, short covering into the close. Doesn't mean it's bullish long term, but you know, guess who's green? Guess who's green?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we just jumped right into the pod. I've been traveling all day, and I literally just fired up the old Zoom. And we've got these 15-minute candles going on right here. I mean, that's some. What's the volume on that sucker look like? We haven't done this in so long in person while the market's open. It's kind of tripping me out a little bit.
It's decent volume here. It's not like crazy.
Yeah, it's not crazy, but it's for the day, it's pretty good. We are in the last trading day of the year. It is worth noting that I think yesterday was the last day for sales for tax loss selling, right? Unless you're mark to market. So wash sale would be any time for the next 30 days. So I think we can. I'm not expecting a huge move in the next 30 days, but it's hard for me to say we see a precipitous decline for the next 30 days. I mean, it could happen. We're stuck in the middle of this trading range. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I guess.
I'm not trying to walk you off anything. Ultimately, I think we're sideways, and some of the things that I'm looking at are like, if you look at the Dixie, that's a pretty nasty month, right? The dollar.
Let's go look at old Dixie chicks. Yeah, that's not just a nasty month. That's nasty months.
Yeah, and quarter, right? Like, and the breakout is failing at this point.
Yeah, that's a terrible quarterly candle.
Yeah. So when you have this, you've seen it all year and everything else, right? So maybe the dollar is different, but as soon as we break lows of the day, the week, whatever pivot you're using, it's not a good sign. It's caused new lows and things haven't really behaved that well. So you have the dollar finishing the year failing the breakout. Oh, look at that jump. Oh, look at 40 cents, yo.
Hi, Randy. Thanks for joining us in the middle of a trading session. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah,
What's up,
I mean,
Randy?
I'm not letting you do this to me. I'm holding the microphone in my hand, which I rarely do. I'm not letting you do this to me, GP. You can't keep doing it. I'm not gonna let you get me all bulled up on
Not
the last hit
bull.
here.
I think we talked about this. The amount of technical damage that has happened in 22 is not going to get reversed in 23, right? No pivot, no nothing can change the amount of technical damage. Do I think we are retesting the COVID breakaway gap here and consolidating gains from the last 2 years? Yeah, that's what I think is happening here. And if we get something to break in the markets, if the Fed is successful in the soft landing or the hard landing, whatever they're actually trying to do, and they can achieve their mandates, which no one thinks they can, and ultimately the Fed has been behind the curve, so I understand it. But to me, as of now, it's tested the breakaway gap from 2020. Which caused all this economic growth and all this other stuff, monetary, and I keep seeing charts on monetary supply, stuff like that. The question to me is, has something broken yet? And no, not yet. And if it does break and we break that June low 255 or whatever in the Qs and 360s in the S&P, the short's going to be easy, in my opinion. It's going to be like people have already sold a lot here and people are buying support. So if we break that support down here, the liquidation, people's stops will be pretty simple, and it's going to be a waterfall effect. So I'm not front running something that could potentially happen. If it happens,
So
it
I'm
happens.
seeing, like, you'll come back to where we started with the Teslas and the Apples. I'm seeing quite a few of those waterfall calls out there from TA folks. And while, I mean, that would be wild to see, I mean, it's hard for me to just be like, we're going to see continued damage in the leaders, like I said, and not see it across the board. And maybe we do, maybe, I don't know. I feel like 2020 was the year for the Bears. You know, Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad screaming, he can't keep getting away with it. And 2022 is the year for the Bulls screaming it back at the Bears, right? So I'm looking forward to 2023. Like, I don't want to start January off being so bearish as I've been for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. So I would like to see a decision for the market to do something as opposed to this drip and drab down. And I really like the Dixie chart that you had me look at moments ago. But you know, like when I pull up old Apple, like it's bouncing at this little support that we've got in the
Back above 129, right? Back above the June
I mean,
low.
it's treading water, right? And if anything is going to tread water and be able to survive, you'd think it would be like an Apple of the world.
Yeah.
You know,
And until like
Tesla,
6 weeks ago, Tesla was perfectly fine, right? So
yeah,
Apple could go. It was holding, it was trading, and then he bought Twitter, and then
I mean, actually, and volume's coming in on Tesla, right?
yeah. What I've known about Tesla in 8 years of ownership is that it's max pain for bulls and bears all the time.
Yeah, right. Well, look at the RSI. I mean, the RSI on the weekly is 28. Like, give me.
If you go to the monthly, it's the same as 2019 when it took off for
right.
3,000%.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah,
pretty close.
I'm not saying it's going to do another 3,000%, but this is a company. This is one of the few companies that was actually in the middle. It's still going to have a decent growth year, and it got smoked. And I understand the valuation and all that other conversation, but it didn't matter till it mattered, right? As you said, it was treading water until.
But this is the year I'm going to go full on Cookie, and I mean exactly what Cookie has told me and taught me in the past is, and Duzio says this too, ride your huckleberries, right? Till those moving averages turn over. Like, that's what I'm going to be in and out. That's my New Year's resolution. That's what I want to try to be better at in 2023. The last 6-7 months, I haven't had a lot of time to trade. And I don't think I'll have necessarily more time to trade, but I'll have more time to be able to actually pay more attention to the market in 2023. So, yeah, I'm gonna ride the huckleberries and let them do what they do.
But tell me why, and I know you're not a big Netflix fan, but tell me why when all the huckleberries and everything is right in this stock, people are like calling for sub 100.
I think it's just because of what it did here and what the rest of tech is currently doing, right? Like, you had a 75% drop recently.
Right, but look at the last 2 quarters. It's a tale of two halves.
Yeah, no, I get it. Right. Like, I'm not, you asked me why.
Yeah.
I'm telling you why. And it's because of this. There's a lack of trust because of that right there.
Yeah. And then, but if you go to the quarterly chart here, that's back-to-back green quarters, and this quarter is actually on bigger volume, right? Like, so to me, and the body sits above the prior quarter, right? And everyone's still and this from a technical perspective is acting better than almost any of them.
I mean, even on the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, you're riding those huckleberries, or you're at least riding a huckleberry, right? Like you're riding the 9 on the quarter, on the monthly, you're riding the 50 on the quarterly, you're riding
above the 21 on
almost everything on the daily. So like,
and yet everyone's calling for a short and going back to 85 or whatever.
I know Netflix is your baby, and it might warm your heart in this holiday season that I don't have anything negative to say about Netflix.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's not you specifically, Bags. It's just like, okay, I hear you that you see the market is bearish, right? So that's why you think Netflix is just a 50% retracement and it's going to die. And that's a possibility. But as of now, yes, it's shown weakness as it approaches the gap, but it's not failing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, again, I think it's recency bias, right? Like, you've got this, and then you've got what's going on here. So I don't think it's strictly an indictment on Netflix. I think it's partially an indictment on Netflix, and partially, and more than partially, a majority just on the market sentiment as a whole.
Yeah, and I get that, and yeah, it's just then I see things like Deck, right? Like if you're looking at Deck, which is an outdoor retail company, that's what it did in 2022.
That's silly.
And this is an outdoor retail company, right? And if you take a Lulu as well, right? That's not terrible for a overvalued, overpriced, and it could still fall further, but you see the accumulation candles there. This is expensive yoga pants. This is while you continue to tell me that the worst recession ever since like the caveman days is coming to our neighborhood next year. This is what this is doing. And there's a lot of this, right? It's not like, yes, the popular names have gotten destroyed, Netflix included, Apple, Tesla, Google, Amazon, Shop, Costco, FedEx. Like I can go through the list, but there's been some nuances that I continue to see. And the other part is XLE. It's holding up, right? If there's a big, massive, scary recession coming our way, if the huckleberries are holding, it's hard to be too bearish here, right? On a monthly, it's closing below the prior month, but if your big, scary, bad recession is coming, why is XLE holding? If people are going to be so poor that they're going to be crying, that they're going to be looking for jobs as like, anything, pizza delivery boys or whatever, you think the demand for oil is going to hold up?
Well,
or energy?
Yeah, we've talked about the decoupling of oil and a lot of the energy names. Oil, I mean, is poised for a similar type of breakdown right here. I've got the RSI charted there on the CL. It wouldn't surprise me for that to fold, right? It's come into contact with this all along the line. It's failed. But XLE looks, stronger than that. So still not a chart that I love, but you gotta be able to call it how it is, and it is holding up stronger than a lot of the shit.
Yeah, and it got the pullback that I was expecting. But if you take a look at XLE on a monthly basis, in 2008, when we got the recession, which was, I think it was on a quarterly basis, sorry, July 2008 is kind of when it started. Look what XLE did from July, the second half of the year, right? That's what you would expect if a recession is coming, not this green candle here. So my thesis is we've been going sideways as people are shifting their investment thesis going into 2023 and beyond, right? So out of these generals, but into other names, right? And so otherwise we'd be breaking down on a much bigger level, because if it was a straight liquidation of everything and anything, we wouldn't be sideways for 6 months. So that's where I'm thinking is like, okay, I understand that the generals might not be involved in the next kind of upcycle or whatever you want to call it, cycle over the next couple of years, but see what's sticking out in 2022. And like, for example, deck is that thing that sticks out to me is like this. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, look at that quarterly chart.
This is an outdoor recreational retail company, right? So you would have expected this to not be doing well.
It's been doing well for a long time, honestly.
Yeah.
Let me throw a parallel channel on that guy real quick.
So I just my thought process is what I'm sharing with you here. But in general, it's like try to keep an open mind. It's not the end of the world to everything, and all this stuff you have to kind of consolidate together. And 2022 has been miserable, right? Unless you sold everything at the end of 2021 and went net short, which most people didn't.
No,
it's been a hard year for most. So
and the people who are saying they did aren't being honest about it. Like that didn't.
And some may have, some are that good, but most people aren't that disciplined to cut out maybe 10 years of longs in.
Your name ain't Mike Wilson. I don't want to hear it. Never heard Andrew. Never heard of deck. Looks good though. It does, Andrew. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hitting the call. Randy, our no limit soldiers here. He says V-Ray and TMDX. V-Ray. What is?
I don't like new IPOs. So
what is V-Ray? I have no idea what V-Ray is.
V-Ray?
V-Ray's not new. V-Ray.
No, I'm pulling up the chart.
I don't know.
It's still relatively new. It's only like 8 years old. It's like Twitter old.
2016. That's what I've got.
Yeah.
On the chart.
6 years. No, it's not that old. That's not that new. I just realized I have the quarterly chart. I'm like, why are there only 5 candles?
Randy, it's riding huckleberries, right? Like you got all the moving averages support. You know, if it comes in at $4 or there at 410, I don't know. Not my shit, but hey, if it's yours, you pick some pretty good ones, Randy. I'm not gonna knock it. Transmedics sounds like it. No, I was gonna say it sounds like another dollar stock, Randy, but it's a $61 banger. Yeah, this is a newer stock, 2019. Looks a little overextended, but on the daily, it's cooled off. It looks like, I don't know, it looks pretty good, Randy.
Pull up Ulta, right? Like this is ULTA.
I love me some Ulta.
Right? Like this is what a cosmetics company is doing as well, right? Like so
pre-pandemic, I had the Mrs. Bags portion of the portfolio, and like a quarter of my holdings were all the things that Mrs. Bags was into. So we had Ulta, and we had TJ Maxx, and we had Starbucks and MasterCard.
Yeah, those are the other two, MasterCard and Visa. Look at the gambling stocks.
It was the shit until the pandemic. But Ulta has really, I gotta, applaud Ulta. I think somewhere through here they had their CEO resign too, new CEO, and all it's done is just chug away to all-time highs. MasterCard and Visa, huckleberries.
Dude,
this is a massive base here. This is a massive base in a very high dollar company. It's a massive base that's built out here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right at the 2020 highs right now. You're basically flat on a 2-year basis, 3-year basis with MasterCard. Visa is going to look the same because they both look the same. Actually, just a little bit lighter, but the chart looks the same otherwise.
Yeah.
Looks like a retest.
Look up Win. That's pretty solid.
There's some huckleberries going on.
LVS.
Yeah, I was going to say Las Vegas Sands.
Even better.
Yeah. Well, it looks a little more extended to me. MGM, that's still the laggard of the bunch. What about like online? What about like DraftKings? Oh my gosh. There's just been a slaughter fest there.
Yeah.
Everybody and their cousins were like, oh, anything under $40 is a deal. Well, it's $11 now. That's a SPAC name. Speaking of SPAC names, pull up old SOFI, still struggling. Struggle bus, the curse of Chamath.
These were all late stage distribution models, right? Like anything that kind of IPO'd after like 2018, 19 were all like Uber, Lyft, SoFi, Palantir. You can go through the entire list. Like when you come in at $100 billion valuation, there's very little upside. And Facebook was the only one, but you know when they came in at $100 billion valuation? In 2012, not 10 years into the bull cycle.
Dub C says, thought the consumer is about to get crushed. How are casinos and resorts holding up?
China.
I don't know how much the consumer is getting crushed. I mean, people are still out there spending. So I don't know.
Yeah, and so that's why we're like that's what I was saying. It's a holding pattern, right? 6 months sideways while we decide which way everything's going to break. Everyone's got a decision, and I'm saying stay open, right? Because if things don't break, and most likely they will, so I do lean towards the potential that we do break here. But until we break, just wait for it.
Holy cow! Canopy growth just completely wrecked.
And destroyed.
Wrecked. Coinbase is back down in the 30s. Sorry, I'm just looking over the Excel watch list here. That's the narrative, the rhetorical question. Oh, got it, Dub C. Sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, at some point, you think that either the consumer is going to tighten belts, right, and not spend as much, or two, they are going to leverage themselves with debt. And that's the thought on why the consumer is getting crushed. I don't see it yet necessarily. That doesn't mean it can't happen. I just don't see it yet. Disney is oof. I mean, we're pandemic lows. Oof.
Yeah, Disney looks terrible.
Bob Iger, make Disney great again. First Solar, a name we've talked about a bunch.
No, First Solar doesn't look that great.
No, it doesn't look that great. Starting to weaken quite a bit.
And you saw the volume come in on like the big day up days and stuff like that. So they're in the distribution model. It doesn't mean it's going to die completely, but it
lower prices cometh.
Yeah, it can rest for a while.
Gilead, that's a name that had to cool off some. Home Depot. Capital One. Andrew says Capital One. What's Capital One's ticker? I don't even know.
I have no.
COF. COF. Yeah, that doesn't look great. I mean, that's a downtrend. Yeah. I mean, we can get in a fight over what it's done since September, but I mean, that's a downtrend.
Yeah, it's a downtrend, but if you look at the larger trend, most of financials are retesting the 13-year breakout.
I know, but you're never going to hear me get tired of saying a downtrend to you.
And I don't even like financials, right?
That's the point that I'm making. I'm just saying it's a downtrend, but
I stopped listening to you, right? I think I have you filtered. I think I have filtered Zoom.
Lyft has gotten crushed. I'm just
randomly. Once again, $80 billion valuation, right? Like they're a losing company. Ultimately, they're going to struggle in this environment to raise enough cash.
Moderna might be a retest.
Moderna, I saw some decent volume come in on the 150 January calls today.
That looks like a retest to me. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm not looking to buy any right now, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Semis are taking a giant dump this week. Open door. Oh my God.
Oh,
$1
gosh, what are we
60
doing?
Holy cow. Pin that back down to 30. It's been 30 before. Wow. Palantir's a $6 stock. These were all the darlings into 2020.
Yeah.
Early 2021. These were the darlings.
These are never going to recover, right? Like they're just
Roblox. What about Roblox? Is it going to recover?
Roblox new IPO.
You like some Roblox?
My thesis hasn't changed on Roblox. It's gonna go, and it's building a wide base range, right? And in the IPO, so I see a lot of accumulation on it. I like it long term. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. So
hey, Randy, you said you like it. Which one do you like? Comment which one you like, Randy. I like knowing what Randy likes. Rivian, oof. The ultimate speculative stock, SoftBank, right there.
Oh, you know what I like? I like NVDA.
You do like NVIDIA?
I really like the inverse head and shoulder look at the base from 2019 to 2020. If you go to the weekly, Fastly. Oh gosh, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Dub C? All right, Randy, Moderna. What are you talking about, Dub C? Fastly? What do you like about Fastly? I mean,
are you just choosing beaten up names? Because that
serious
I don't know if that's a good strategy here.
I'm not being, or are you being sarcastic? On fact, you might be being sarcastic. Snow's got a green day going on today.
No back-to-back green days and all this mess, which has been interesting.
That is interesting. Snowflake's interesting. Oh, he was joking. See, you got to tell me like you're like the rhetorical and sarcasm don't come through, and I'm just. But thank you, Dub C. Just don't crip walk on me. Target's got a green day, but it looks like shit. Twilio, green day, but looks like shit. We're going to pull up the semis real quick. Fresh, FRSH, fresh huckleberries. See, GP, like I know you're talking about NVIDIA, and this could absolutely play out, but you remember where I'm at with these fucking chart patterns.
Yeah, I just like it because it's in the base, right? Like, and it's holding the top part of that kind of base from 2020. So yes, it can break down, but it's one of the better looking charts to me.
All right, fuck it, I'll buy 100 shares.
Right? Because it went from what 100 to almost 200 in 2 months, and it's pulling back. It's got its
That's a base, Randy. I'm not gonna lie, that's a base. Randy always puts us on something new every time. Randy, you're honorary member of the TA report.
We should have Randy on.
Yeah, Randy, you want to come on? You can come on. Crocs.
Yeah, that one's been strong.
Crocs. Yeah, that looks really strong. A little overextended, but strong.
Twinkies.
What's
solid year?
What's the ticker?
TWNK.
TWNK.
Yep. Solid year for Twinkies, right? This is not like a growth stock.
It's fucking Twinkies. I mean, the chart doesn't look great at the moment, but yeah.
No, not at the moment, but it's up on the year, which, you think in recessions, people wouldn't be eating Twinkies.
Yeah, you're up almost 10% on the year.
It was up a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Just took it out. Yeah.
Randy says he's antisocial. Well, so am I. But I'm the host of your podcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we were talking about semis and NVIDIA, but the semi chart as a whole does not look good, GP. Like, yeah, I see the same setup, right? Because NVIDIA kind of and SMH sort of hold the same pattern to a lot of degree. Just don't not. I would love to be bulled up
Yeah,
semiconductors,
like if
but
you're looking at SMH from the COVID lows to the COVID highs, it's sitting it found it the first shoulder was at the 50%
oh my
retracement.
god, I mean, we're up 107% if we're looking at that.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're doing like the fib retracements here, right? Like the first pull down was right to the 50% bounce, and then came back down to the 61.8% from the COVID lows, and now we've had a move down over the last 4 weeks, right back into that 50%. Right? There's a lot
With
of confluences in
236 right
terms
here.
of
Yeah.
huh?
On the more recent, it's holding 236. So
Yeah. So like I like it, but it's obviously got to show the price patterns to like. But Amazon looks like dirt. It's literally going to close like 5 cents from the lows. Right.
Randy, you were all on GFS's dick. Now you're saying it looks like shit. It doesn't look great.
No. What looks good last week looks terrible this week.
Anybody hitting us on the old Twitter or stock twits? No. Wow, I kind of everybody's checked out, GP. I've been telling you that for months now. Like people are
Oh
tired.
yeah.
People are tired of the market, gotten beat up, chewed up, spit out. As Cookie likes to say, they've been eating ramen too long because they've lost all their monies.
Yeah, I don't disagree. People are just worn out, and like even if we get another leg lower, people are gonna be like, yeah. So after 2022, I don't really care.
Holy smokes, T-Doc. I haven't looked at this and I don't know how long either. $23. It's one hell of a chart right there. We got 15 minutes left in the trading day.
Yeah, trading year.
Yeah, right. 15 minutes left in the year.
Thank God.
Spy is still trying to throttle up a little bit.
And Tesla's trying to close above the prior week's high.
Is it?
On
are we gonna,
123.15 is that number,
are we going
and
to
that's going
challenge
to be
that
on.
gap?
Huh?
Are we going to challenge this gap? We're going to be
And
up to
dude, numbers are
381?
coming out. Their delivery numbers are going to be sick. Their entire inventory is sold out, right? So, yeah, like I don't know. It's
Wow,
the Elon cycles.
I totally missed the, what is that? 109.
109.96 was the level.
Wow, I totally missed that traveling, but that's okay. Spend
But it
time
broke
with your
every
friends
level.
and
It's not
family.
like you magically knew this level was going to matter.
I had some levels marked on a Tesla chart somewhere. There we go. 105.49. That was pretty close.
It hit it like after hours.
It did.
Yeah, it hit like 105 something.
That was pretty close.
Whenever like I've seen that in Tesla, whenever you get the like the extra $5 down after hours, it usually marks the end of the move down, short term at least.
Huh. Did you buy?
Yeah, I buy in lots, right? So I bought a lot initially in 2014 to 19.
No, did you buy at 105?
No, I bought it like 120. I was waiting for this week to close. I don't really care about catching the exact bottom on.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. Like,
I added at 120. I added at 133. My levels, right? So, and if it goes lower, I'll add some more, right? That's why on the way up I sold, and so I have cash to buy when it comes back down because Tesla always comes down.
Dub C, I think okay, Dub C, like I'm presuming you're being serious this time and not sarcastic. It takes a little more than a solid January to fix these charts.
Yeah.
On is a name that a solid January and it's fine. But
solid
there's a
January.
lot of other names. Like even if we look at Apple, I mean, it's going to have to really engulf this bar, right? Like Apple's going to need a close to 20% month to make it look good in January. Tesla, I mean, Tesla is going to need some major moves to make it look good for just on January. So there, I guess it depends what charts you're looking at. I mean, right now, this monthly bar on the S&P looks like hot garbage.
Yep.
So like I think it's going to take more than just a January. It's probably going to take a quarter.
It's at least a year, if not longer, on a lot of this stuff, right? This
well,
technical damage.
It works, right? Like if you have a really strong quarter, then you're overbought, right? So then it's got to cool off. Yeah. So yeah, to get back on that footing to keep stair stepping higher, you're absolutely right, GP. It's going to take more than a quarter. But to make the charts look respectable again, like yeah, a quarter would be the start, not necessarily the solution, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've been talking about this here. This technical damage on all these charts is historic, right? So when you have this was worst technical damage. If you look at these yearly bars and quarterly bars, these are historic, not indices, but individual names.
And if we go back to the pandemic, a huge difference was we straight V'd out of it. Right. This is not a V. This is damage to the downside as opposed to bouncing out of it. Early days in crypto when it was so volatile, right? You would just see a massive sell-off and you'd just buy and you'd be good to hold forever. Well, you're not getting those bounces in the market like you would in those days in crypto and like you would right now. That you would have got during the pandemic, right, in March and April of 2020. So it's going to take time to repair, in my opinion. Nas is bouncing, says Randy.
Look, Netflix took 6 months to get back to only 300, right? Like it's going to take time. It's 100% going to take time, and then they're going to have to prove out their models. I personally think we are seeing a switch from all these risk on assets to these risk off kind of cash producing assets. And that's what you've been seeing over the 6 months is an investment shift, because what the Fed has told you is higher rates for longer. When you can get 3 to 5% in a CD or a bond or something like that, that's safe and it's risk free, people aren't going to put that much money into the market. So they're going to look for stuff that's going to be cash producing, that's going to match, like, okay, well, I'll buy this because it has a 5% dividend as well, so even if it goes down, I'm still going to get paid, and then I can participate when it starts to behave better, right? So it's an investment shift, and I think a lot of people are thinking about, I think I said this in May of 2021, is like, are you prepared to hold for a really long time on some of these names, because they hit peak growth in pandemics, right? And
free money.
What's that?
Free money.
Yeah. And
we are attacking the gap into the close to the end of the year.
Yeah, look, Apple's about to go green. NVIDIA's about to go green. Netflix is doing what? It's leading. I really like Netflix here. It's a miserable trader, don't get me wrong, but
Netflix is leading. It
is green, and there you go. Apple's green.
There was some joy in that. We've got 8 more minutes in the trading day.
Yeah.
8 more minutes. GP, I wish you nothing but the best for 2023.
I do. I'm also excited to see you in January.
I know. I'm excited to see you too. I miss Nick. Nick is, our third amigo, our third wheel. Miss Nick. It's been nothing but a pleasure to be with you guys weekly, almost every week for the last year. It's been a lot of fun. Who thought January a year ago, that awful Netflix chart that you pointed out, was going to play out like it did and lead us all down a shitstorm. So thanks for doing that, but don't ever do that again.
But now I'm telling you that it's telling you it's going to be okay, right? And you don't want to hear it.
Well, no, I know it's going to be okay. Long term, I'm never going to be anything but a bull.
I don't mean long term. I mean the next 6 months are going to be okay.
Randy, happy New Year to you too. I hope it's a prosperous one for you too, my brother.
So what I will say, Bags, is like when we started this in January, this was one of those things that I never thought I needed, but I'm happy that I found out that it's something that I did need, because it not only do I get a chance to talk the markets with people I enjoy hanging around with, it's been an awesome moment for me to consolidate my thoughts every week, more than I used to do, right?
Yeah.
It's been a really awesome thing that was unexpected when we first started the year. So thank you for starting it and hosting it and doing it every week without fail.
Yeah, well, we missed a few, like when I was moving, and a few of us got sick here and there. So we missed a couple, but we've been doing it for a minute, and it's been a good time. One thing I'm going to be also as a resolution for 2023 is I want to be better about putting our agenda out. I feel like May, when we were going through the moving and the selling of the houses, life just took over, and I got out of the habit of sending our agenda around for our talking points. And we stopped doing our little pre-show that we'd get together for the first 10 minutes and just sort of talk about what we were going to talk about. So I want to be a little bit better on the production of our show too. So I look forward to that. 5 minutes. 5 minutes left.
You know where we're closing? You know what we're closing?
We're going to
the
close green.
JPM collar.
We're going to close green on the day. I feel it. Feel it in my bones.
4 minutes, 42
when we
seconds.
started, we were like at 0.7% down, and now we're not even 0.2 down. Let's go, Bulls. Never been such a Bull fan in my life, and they just keep disappointing me.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
I don't know. Are we going to get any more upside?
I took some 0 DTE Amazon 83 calls, and they have 8x'd now, so it's quite a
sell.
No, I sold it half right before I got on the call.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't let me keep you. Sell that shit.
Yeah, well, now it's gone from 10 cents to 87.90 cents. Yep. Anyway, just the New Year's trade.
Just an awful chart too, but basing, right? That's holding that former base.
Zuckerberg just went green.
I don't want to talk about that
one. Apple's green. Netflix is green. Square is green. High yield growth is green. Junk bonds are green.
Meta needs to reclaim this 124 area.
Meta looks like it's going to break out.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yep. And dollar is going to close below the yearly pivot, quarterly pivot, monthly pivot.
Damn you.
Dollar being down is supposed to be a tailwind, right? So we shall see what happens.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
But it's important to see how the year closes, right?
What's keeping bug down? We've got some things up in that sector. What's keeping the old bug down? I mean, that's a green chart.
You think Netflix can close above 305 in 2 minutes?
Nets. What's holding it down? 305 in 10 minutes? No, in
That's
5.
above the prior month's close.
No,
I was hoping for that, but it didn't happen.
That ain't happening. That ain't happening, my brother. Is Nate alive? Yes.
NVIDIA's about to go green.
Andrew, yes. Nate is alive. Andrew, is this short? Andrew Harrison, Andy, right? That's short seller's first name. Sorry, I don't mean to. Andy. Yes, Nate is alive. I saw Nate like 3 weeks ago. I talked to him last night, actually.
Interesting.
And I asked him about you being blocked, GP, and he doesn't recall.
Yeah, he blocked me on Amazon. I remember the exact moment. I was like, all right, whatever.
He doesn't recall.
I call bullshit, but whatever.
I mean, he might just have such a long list of blocks that, it just kind of sinks into the ether. It happens.
Yeah, all good. I don't really care, but yeah.
I could invite him to the live pod. See how that goes.
Yeah, if he wants to. I have absolutely no ill will with him. I just asked him a question. He got angry and blocked me. So I'm happy to meet up with him or do whatever.
Yeah, no.
NVIDIA's green. Yeah.
All right. Are we going to get the? No, SPY's not going to go. It's losing steam. The Qs.
Apple is not losing steam. Tesla might close green on the week.
The Qs aren't losing shit.
Biting nails here. Biting nails.
Come on, Qs. Give us.
Oh, can we close above the June? That would be insane. Above the June low. We're at like 50 seconds. No, it's not gonna happen.
No, we lost the mojo.
But the buyers keep showing up below those June lows. So if we do have our next leg down, those buyers are gonna liquidate quick, which is why the next leg down, if it happens, would be pretty fast. Because all the people
are watching the ball drop or shoot up, so to speak.
And Tesla's green for the week.
Yeah, 10 seconds on the Qs. The 10 seconds on the Qs. Here it comes. Here it comes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're green for the week.
Just green or just red. Just red.
Oh, Amazon. Oh,
this was kind of a fun end of year. Just get it live during the trading hours. GP and I are off for New Year's Day on Sunday. GP, thanks for jumping on and hanging out for an hour. It was good for me to get off the road and just jump on the computer and talk stocks for a few minutes. I got to admit, I was a little out of sorts at first, but we got right into it. So I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate what you bring every week. Randy, honorary member, starting 2023 of the TA report, even though he's antisocial. So unless you've got a good excuse, Randy, I expect you to be here. Andrew, Dub C, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hey GP, I hate when other people say it, but I'll see you next year.
I'll see you next year too, and Happy New Year, bud. To you, family. Nick, I know if you're listening, you're having a great old time celebrating the last few hours of our new year, of our crap year, sorry.
And Nick should be back on our first episode back in 2023.
Yep.
So we will keep you guys posted. It should still be on. I gotta reset the meeting, but it should be on the 8th, I believe. And we'll say around our same time, like 7 p.m. But I've got to send out a new invite for all that, and I will. So look for that, GP. But thanks, guys. It's been a great year. The market's been shit, but we've had fun.